back's on his feet. He looks up and gives me a grin and says, "Hey dude, you too must be from Marin." Marin County's A-OK, from Tam to Stinson all the way to MA. Fresh organic veggies in the market every day. Lieutenant Dylan and NWA.
Welcome to the Run TMC podcast. That is the Run TMC podcast, brought to you by Encore Custom Apparel. I am Duffy Ballard, and with me out on his back patio, along with a rather vocal bird in a tree, is friend, coach, colleague David Levine. Good morning.
Good morning. Could I use the term bucolic?
It is bucolic. And we also have relatively new Levine pet backup podcast dog, Belly. Belly is wandering around here.
Not quite as loud as Kenya in terms of snoring or gastrointestinal issues, but Belly's making her presence felt. She's roaming around.
So quick podcast, and this is going totally off script.
Can't wait.
But podcast dog Kenny sometimes comes into the office with me for Marin EMS meetings. And we have a monthly meeting, which is pretty much everyone, that is in our office space, which is a couple different groups. There's like EMS, public health preparedness. Anyway.
EMS, emergency medical
services.
Yes.
So we're in the room, and it's a pretty full room, and there's a presentation. It's perhaps not the most scintillating, exciting presentation. Kenny's in the room. She's on the floor. And at some point, it sounds like one of the members of the team has either fallen asleep or is having a lot of gastrointestinal distress, and there's a lot of rumbling. And the whole meeting sort of pauses and looks at this guy. And then everyone realizes it's Kenya, who's snoring very loudly, but is sounding a bit like borborygmi, which is that sound your belly makes when it's gurgling a little bit. And so we got a good laugh out of that.
Is that how you pronounce it? I always thought it was borborygmi. That's how you pronounce it?
Yeah, a soft G. Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Kind of like our president who fell asleep in the meeting in Saudi Arabia. Maybe he had some borborygmi as well.
That might have woke him right up. Sometimes that can happen.
Absolutely. We have a great episode today. Moving on from snoring and gastrointestinal issues, Tim Morgan was our guest. We're going to get into that. Tim was awesome. But prior to that, Duff, we want to recommend that our listeners, if you haven't already, check out our last episode with the great Charles Hovler, where we discuss NIL. We've been getting awesome feedback on that episode. A lot of people have reached out and said it was a really interesting conversation. It's a debate that is raging around high school and college athletics.
Yeah, no, it was a great episode. We heard from friends of the podcast about it. Alex Pribble, Coach Pribble, texted us. He was pretty fired up about the conversation. Ryan Craig, who we featured with the Jim Harbaugh story, he texted us. He knows Charles Hovler from his time at Stanford. And we heard from David Deneen, and we'll get into one of the details that Dave sent us in follow-up. But yes, this was episode 23, and for those like Dave and I who might be mourning the loss of the Warriors season and thinking about what could have been, and maybe having images of the forlorn Steph Curry in that pretty sweet sweatsuit deal he was in last night, imprinted on their mind for a little bit of time, this might just be a good distraction. Go back, listen to some prior Run TMC episodes, and I would probably start with the NIL, but I'll also go back a couple after that to the Fritz Pointer episode. That was a great episode as well. Episode 20, I believe.
Fritz is amazing. Highly recommend you give that one a listen. What an interesting life story. What a great guy. Also just the sound of his voice, the cadence with which he speaks. He was awesome. It was an honor to be in the same room with him. And really, really cool stuff.
But back to NIL. So we'd heard this even before we interviewed Charles. Charles followed up with us and said, NIL sounds like it's going to change drastically. Maybe something going on in Congress. We don't know the details, but the conversation we just had and the conversation we're having now briefly about NIL, it's going to be a different landscape. We're pretty sure.
Yep.
So some of the craziness of what goes on, and in particular, those players that are just going from school to school to school to school, and they are clearly benefiting financially, but they are also clearly missing out on a traditional college education. That is probably going to calm down. That's our prediction. Here is just a case study in that dynamic. So Devin Askew went to Mater Dei in 2020. And then after that, he went Kentucky, 2021, Texas, 21-22. He was at Cal for a couple of years, 22 to 24. Long Beach State, 24-25. He wanted to stay at Long Beach State for the next year as a grad student. He somehow had one more year of eligibility after all that. He requested $265,000. They agreed on that amount. And then he got in the portal, decides they agreed on that. He's like, all right, well, let's test the portal. So he goes in the portal, gets offered $400,000 for Stanford for a grad student position, but he doesn't get accepted into grad school. He doesn't get accepted into grad school. So he's gone from Long Beach State, $265,000, Stanford, $400,000, but he doesn't get into school, which means they can't pay him. And then he jumps back into the portal, and now he lands at Villanova, $1.2 million.
So interesting follow-up, given our conversation with Charles about NIL writ large, but we spent a fair amount of time using Stanford as an example. And here's another example of where Stanford is a little bit behind. Now, look, they have an admissions standard. I get that, but they were willing to. Somebody at Stanford was willing to offer him $400K. He accepted, and then he doesn't get admitted based on his application, and then he jumps back in the portal, and Villanova throws $1.2 million at him. So, just a crazy example. This is a kid who now will have gone to 5 schools in 6 years, and this is becoming the norm, not the exception.
Yep.
One more note on transfer portal with the Marin bent. AJ Rahosi, who played at Marin Catholic for Coach Mike Saya, started his college career at Washington State playing for Kyle Smith. 2 years there, went to Claremont, transferred to Claremont and played there, and has just announced the last couple of days that he is going to Stanford, playing for his old Washington State coach, Kyle Smith. So congrats to AJ.
Yeah, congrats.
Coming back to the Bay Area.
And so speaking of transferring and flux and change, and Belly's going after a squirrel.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a losing battle.
Okay.
But good effort, Belly.
Yep.
Let's get into some of the local news, local Marin news.
Yeah. So we've heard Gio Bravelli going to De Anza. JC, awesome for Gio. Congrats. Good luck. I think it's a great path for him. Our friend Gavin Early from San Domenico, great player, had a bunch of different avenues he was pursuing, and he has committed to Santa Rosa JC to play for Craig McMillan, former University of Arizona star, was a backcourt mate of Steve Kerr.
That's right.
And McMillan has had a phenomenal career
yeah,
as a coach at Santa Rosa JC, really good at developing talent. So excited for Gavin and Gio. And then we have a bunch of news around the coaching carousel. The MC girls, we have heard, have hired Rachel Yarnold, who's a really good coach. She's a Bay City AAU coach. She played at San Ramon Valley. She played at University of Rochester, and she was the former varsity head coach at Convent. So she will be at Marin Catholic. The Branson girls, who, as we mentioned, hired KK as their head coach, have hired an assistant coach. His name is Dave Levine. Hello, that's me.
Congratulations, Dave.
Thank you.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
This is amazing.
Surprise. And then we've got a few vacancies still, a new vacancy that we just heard about. Our friend Kelly Thomas, who we love and who's a great coach, sadly is leaving the area. She's going to move to Sacramento with her husband. So Marin Academy will be looking for a new girls coach. And we've heard that the San Domenico girls, who will be replacing me, are very close to making a decision, but we can't announce anything yet. So that's open as well. And if there are other coaching vacancies or developments, please let us know. Sure. But those are the ones that we know.
Yeah, thank you to Johnny Kearns. Johnny Kearns sent us the news about Gio. And there's some assistant coach news, some swirl, and a couple different programs on the boys' side that we're going to tease right now, but we're sending out our sources for confirmation. So we'll be back with that news as soon as it is official and confirmed.
Yes. Duffy, what time is it?
Dave, I thought you'd never ask. It is sponsor time. And we are brought to you by Encore Custom Apparel. And I'm very, very excited to announce that our Encore Custom Apparel pop-up store is ready, and it is live, or will be live momentarily. And Dave, I'm going to give you the link. We'll put it in the show notes.
Yeah.
And so it is HTTPS, the normal lead-in, // Run TMC podcast 1. That's all one word, then item order, one word, .com /shop/home/.
And it's Run TMC podcast 1, and it's the number 1. Don't spell out 1, just put the number 1.
That's correct.
But we'll put this in the show notes. I'll post it on Instagram. But we're really excited to have the store live. Now our listeners can order shirts. We currently just have men's and women's short sleeve shirts available at a reasonable price, and pick them up, and it's going to be open until the end of May.
And yeah, we got a couple weeks. So yeah, pretty much these are the same shirts that if you've been a guest on the podcast, you've received something very similar to this. It's a lovely tri-blend. Now we have it in a cut that's both men's and women's. You have a couple weeks to order, and then they're going to hand stitch all of this. And then it'll be a few weeks after that, maybe a couple weeks after that. We'll let everyone know when the deliveries will start to occur. We do plan to have a follow-up store probably in the fall where we have many more items, as I discussed before. But we wanted to get this up and running, and Dave and I need to order T-shirts for our guests, so there's a little bit of time pressure to just get this going. So it is up, and you can go check it out, and you can place your order as early as right now. So thank you to Neil Butterfield and Leo and the team at Encore. And just to hype them a little bit more, if you want to do something similar for your team, whether it's your softball team or your bocce team, or it's your pickleball club, or it's your youth baseball team, whatever it is, you just can go onto EncoreCustom.com, and it's 3 simple steps to create your order. Their award-winning graphic design team will create a customized look for your team. Then you share that mock-up, you get ideas, you revise it. Then you enter your roster for your team. And so that will make it easy to get a quote and to distribute the link to your whole team. And then final stop, you have the team store, and the members of the team and the fans, the public writ large, can come check it out, and they will process the order and get it to you in a timely fashion. So thank you to Encore Custom, our platinum sponsor of the Run TMC podcast.
Very cool. Appreciate you, Neil and Leo and everybody. Awesome. Okay, we're gonna hit a glossary, we're gonna hit a dime, and then we're gonna introduce our phenomenal guest, Tim Morgan. So I'll handle glossary, Duff.
Yes, I'm thinking Freddy Krueger, the Joker.
That's right. So clever. So the term today is face cut. You know what a face cut is, Duffy.
I do.
So this can be used, I typically think about it being used as a defensive concept, but basically
I think of it more as an offensive.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
Those are our outlooks on life. I'm being defensive, you're being offensive. So it's also known as a front cut. It's just basically a quick, decisive cut in front of a defender to get on the ball side of the defense. So think of a give and go. A player passes the ball from, let's say, from the top to the wing, and then the passer does a quick cut to the hoop. And if that offensive player cuts in front of his or her defender, that is called a face cut or a front cut. Offensively, that's a great thing. Defensively, it's a disaster because now the offensive player has a lane to the basket. So defensively, you'll often hear coaches say no face cuts or no front cuts. And that's the hallmark of a good defensive team is to eliminate face cuts. Another concept that we talk about defensively is to jump to the ball. So as the ball is passed, every defender on the floor should move in the direction of the ball. And one of the goals of that is to avoid having an offensive player face cut you or cut right in front of you.
Right. You know who is really good at the face cut is our friend Dave Deneen. And in playing with him, the way he would set it up, and you would know by just looking at him, he would give you like this, but this meant he's going to go look like he's screening away.
Duffy's holding up his fist, by the way.
Yeah. I'm going to go screen.
Yes.
And then he would go, and it'd be like essentially slipping the screen, a screen away, slipping it, but it's always a face cut.
Yep.
And boom, like right to the right hand, layup. Really well executed.
Another common use of this is, let's say you have a point guard, two wings, the ball goes from the point to the right wing, let's say, and that left wing, the person opposite the ball, cuts across the lane towards the ball in the basket. And if the defender's asleep, that's a face cut, that's a basket, and that's a defensive player who probably will be spending some time on the bench, Duffy.
It's just taking a look, collecting their thoughts.
Yes, a
Getting
little
ready.
reflection, moment of reflection. Okay, so
Good
that's our glossary term. Let's go to the dime. I like this one.
Yeah, so this one's been waiting for a couple episodes, and this is a podcast. Our dimes are podcast heavy because we're podcasters, Dave.
Mhm.
This one is called Acquired, and so it is a podcast that is hosted by Ben Gilbert and David Rosenthal. They are both in the business world. I believe one of them has graduated from businessman to angel investor. That'd be a great life path,
Mhm.
Dave. So it is well known. So you may have heard of it, especially if you're in the business community. It is the #1 technology show on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and every episode reaches over 1 million listeners. It is described by the Wall Street Journal as the business world's favorite podcast. I had never heard of it, and then someone sent to me the episode, the company Epic out of Verona, Wisconsin, which is a bit of a niche company. You may not have heard of it, Dave, but Epic is the hardware system that runs the electronic medical record. It runs the electronic medical record for my employer, Kaiser Permanente, but also has the largest market share in the country. And it is famous for having been started by a woman. And she is probably the most successful female CEO in world history. Anyway, I was introduced to the podcast by listening to this one, which was fascinating, especially given that a lot of my professional life is spent looking at an Epic screen and Epic product. But I subsequently did a little digging and found that they have all sorts of episodes in there that are about sports entities. So they have an episode on the NFL, one on the Indian Premier League cricket, one on the LA Clippers and ESPN. And the hallmark of these episodes is they are long and they are heavily, heavily researched. So Ben and David spend, I think, weeks to months doing the research for these episodes. So it's a bit cliche, but this is a deep dive, and it's a deep dive into usually just one company or one organization. Dave, you're a fan. You knew about this podcast before I did. So what say you?
Yeah, I've been a fan for years. I work in finance, and so this has been a regular listen for me. But these are 3-4 hour deep dives, as you said, perfect for long drives or airplane rides or stuff at the gym. Some of my favorites, the Costco one is really interesting. They had one on Starbucks where they actually sat down with Howard Schultz. Some NVIDIA, obviously one of the most successful stocks in the last couple of years. Really interesting discussion. So they just do a painstaking level of research and have very interesting perspective on these businesses. Really good listen. Even if you're not a business focused person per se, they have a number of episodes on companies and brands that we all know, right? So as you mentioned, Duff, the sports ones, they do a lot of consumer ones. I think they did one on Hermes, if I remember.
Yeah.
So it's really good, worth a listen, and a great suggestion from you.
So yeah, just one specific suggestion from Acquired is NBA. So they did an episode in 2020 during the bubble on the NBA. It is almost 3 hours long. And it pretty much starts with Naismith and ends with examining LeBron James' social media presence. And although the hosts they readily admit they're not basketball guys. I mean, they make a couple sort of errors in terms of describing basketball players, etc. But they have done their research and they will hit every little nuance, the development of the game. It does have sort of a business-centric side to it, but there are a lot of other stories and nuances about the NBA that I had no idea about, including, I'm just going to give you a couple here. I'm going to quiz you, Dave. All right. So when was the first non-white player in the NBA? What was the year and what nationality?
Ooh.
It's in the script if you need to cheat.
1965.
No, 1947.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah.
I don't know the nationality.
Japanese American. Played in the league for a year or two. So at the same time, there were these traveling teams like the Harlem Globetrotters. But do you know where the Harlem Globetrotters were from originally?
The Bronx.
Chicago.
Huh.
So anyway, there were these successful traveling teams that were African American and were drawing great crowds. But when the NBA started to look at integrating, there was big pushback in terms of African American players, and it took several years for them to begin to integrate, even at a time where Jackie Robinson was already playing Major League Baseball.
Yep.
And the hosts of the Acquired talk a little bit about like that didn't make any business sense at all. You have these teams that are professional, like the Harlem Globetrotters, and the Wrens were out there too.
Right.
And they're making good money. Why wouldn't you want to bring them into your league and improve the product and make more money? So anyway, there are a lot more little details like that are in the episode. It's worth the listen. I was thinking a little bit about, well, I guess I didn't realize that when the Celtics were winning all those championships with Bill Russell and Red Auerbach, there are only 8 teams in the league.
Yeah.
It's not like you could never foresee. I think it'd be really hard to envision a team winning however many championships they did in the 60s.
Yeah.
In today's era, because there are 4x more teams.
Exactly.
Yeah. So,
exactly.
Anyway, Acquired, good listen. Be ready to invest some time. Probably would go in, start listening. If you don't think the topic is going to be compelling to you, then maybe pick a different one.
Yep. Great suggestion. Highly recommend it.
All right, so we're going to get into our interview with Coach Morgan, which is super fun, and he was great. He did send us some thoughts and notes, and maybe there's a correction or two afterwards. So we are going to hit those now for Coach Morgan.
Yep. So Tim Morgan, current boys varsity coach at Tam. We go into his background and his history in the interview, so I won't give it here. But a couple of corrections that he sent or things that he wanted to follow up on. He talked about Paul Trevor's influence a lot. He coached with Coach Trev, and we had Coach Trevor on. We love Trev. But Tim wanted to point out, he also wanted to mention Ian Calvert, who was his first coach mentor in Colorado and gave Tim a lot of confidence as a young 22-year-old just learning the coaching ropes. So we wanted to give a shout out to Coach Calvert in addition to Trev. We asked Tim who were the toughest coaches to play against, and he wrote just a follow-up. He said, Jonas Honix, hands down, still takes the cake, but he forgot to mention Mike Saya in that mix with the others. And he just said Mike had some great teams and had many epic battles and crazy games that are forever memorable. We asked him who would be the other 4 in a pickup game on the outdoor courts. And he said he thought about this on his drive after and figured it was meant for, he wanted to follow up a bit on it. Jada Maestri and Mike Turner don't play anymore, but he would take them at their peak still. Both were skilled, talented, and competitive monsters. With the Pribbles, Alex and Aaron, that squad is too tough to guard and nobody out rebounding us. And then Tim said he'll probably just leak out for open layups. He said if it's a current pickup game being played tomorrow, he's keeping the Pribble brothers, but he's also going with Mike Mahoney, who's probably the best shooter in Marin right now. He still lights it up weekly. Drake grad, great guy. And then the infamous Jesse Bean, who we've talked about a lot. Great player from Terra Linda, very tough.
He's the best shirt grabber in Marin.
He's
hands up and hands down and hands around your jersey, and you're not going anywhere.
Let's just say he's a tough defender. And then lastly,
we love Jesse.
Yes, we do.
I played with Jesse for years. So
Jesse's awesome.
He comes from a place of love. And we have to say, Bob Mitchell, our friend Bob Mitchell, recovering from 2 meniscus surgeries, and he will be back, and he will be back, and he will be challenging Mike Mahoney for best shooter in Marin.
There you go. And then lastly, Tim is taking his brother Jeff Morgan as the 6th man. Would be fun to run with him again. And then one more thing he wrote, he said he wanted to say Craig Pitty was also a very tough coach to face. One of Tim's toughest losses ever was to the San Marin team in the semifinals. That loss did catapult Tam into their NCS run. And he said Craig gave Tim very encouraging words after that game that helped him bounce back for that run. He was a great mentor and a huge help as Tim came into the MCAL. Obviously, we've talked about Craig. Craig passed away way too soon, and Tim said he misses him. So really great interview with Tim. We cover this, but Tim dealt with just unimaginable tragedy. He lost his wife 2 years ago, and he gets into that really fun, meaningful, interesting conversation with a great player, great coach, and a great guy.
Yeah, I was very impressed, Dave, how even before the interview, he wrote to us and said, I know this is going to come up because it's part of my story in returning to coaching, and that is, the passing of my wife after a chronic illness that was really hard, of course, for everyone. And so he was just very upfront. It's okay to talk about it. It's part of my story. I'm still grieving, but I've had this amazing community of support around me to help me get through it and to push me back out to coaching. And that part of the story is really inspiring and really amazing. So yeah, thank you to Tim. And I feel like maybe now we don't even have to play the interview because we've covered the content.
I think we should play the interview.
Yeah, we should play it. Before we play it, I'm going to give the Encore store one more shout out. So that is Run TMC Podcast 1, the number 1, not spelled out, .itemorder, that's one word, .com/shop/home. And yeah, you'll see 2 whole choices there right now, Dave.
Go get a shirt, listen to the episode. Thanks for all your support, listeners. We've got a bunch of interviews that we've banked. We have a bunch that we're scheduled to conduct in the coming weeks. So it'll be a nice run of episodes here. And thanks everybody, as always, for listening and supporting us.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Belly, for taking a little rest over there.
Good job, Belly. All right, thanks, Duff.
Thank you.
All right, Duffy, you ready?
I'm ready. Yeah.
All right.
Did I add the? No, I think I have a separate document. Well, I have some questions.
I can't
Did
wait.
I send them?
No, I can't wait.
Right. From an unnamed source. So, but I'll just sprinkle them in whenever.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Great.
All right, we're going.
I have a hunch.
Yeah.
Tim Morgan, thanks for joining us, buddy.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Great to see you. We are in Duffy's. We're in a new location in Duffy's house. We are upstairs near the Papa Shot. We might have to shoot some jumpers.
It's fitting for me. Shoot or shoot.
Shoot or shoot. We're gonna get to Tim Morgan's stellar playing career. So Tim Morgan is the head coach of the Tam High School boys varsity.
Yep.
Second stint. We're gonna do a quick bio on you, Tim, and then we'll get into it. So first of all, grew up in Novato.
Yep.
Correct.
Correct.
Can we go granular? Which part of Novato did you grow up in?
I grew up on Buchanan Street, which is by Novato High. We had a back gate that actually popped into like the softball field area.
Yeah.
Yeah. So childhood going back there, home run derby on the softball field.
Sweet.
Kind of, the pool in the summers. It's good times.
Love it.
And then,
4-year varsity starter at Novato from 1999 to 2003. We were just talking before we were recording. That was a good stretch in the MCAL. You had some good players, right? Like you had, we'll get into it later, but just as a preview, you had Mike Turner, you had Pribble, Borello.
Yeah.
There were some good players in the
absolutely.
league.
Alex Montaro up at MC, Jay DeMaestri at TAM.
Jay. Yep.
Yeah, who I love and compete against now as a coach.
Of course.
He was my JV coach for 3 years at TAM, and
Oh, that's awesome.
great guy and could torch it and light it up. But yeah,
He can play. We'll get into that, but a lot of people see Jay on the sidelines. Jay could play. I remember watching him play back in the day.
a competitor.
Yep. So Tim started in the backcourt for 2 years with your brother,
I did.
Jeff.
Yeah, Jeff Morgan.
Awesome.
Yep.
Older brother. Tim was all league in 2003 as a senior, second leading scorer in MCAL, 19 a game. Duffy. Tim can score. I think I scored 19.
Not 20? Not 20?
Yeah.
Not quite.
Can we round up?
I think I probably did on that. I think I was probably like 7 or something like that.
That's okay.
But
We're not auditing this, Tim. Okay, I like this one. You finished your career the 6th all-time leading scorer in Novato history, but now you're 8th.
and now I'm 8th. Yeah. So
Darren Amon?
Darren Amon, number 1.
Yep.
I finished 6th. I was 4 points behind actually Jay's dad, Matt Novato. Fun fact. And then Brian Crow.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he was a beast.
Great player.
My dad actually was assistant coach on that team with Reed Nottingham coaching at the helm. I had
Nice.
Coach Brian Crow, and then Jason Carpenter recently.
Of course.
Did everything defensively to try to not let him do it, but the kid could score, man.
Box and 1, triangle and 2 on him. Yep, I get it. Awesome. So Tim had a great playing career. We'll discuss that. And then as a coach, so Tim went to Colorado, went to Boulder for college. You were just a civilian. You didn't play for them.
Nope.
But you were just a student. But then as you graduated Colorado, you started right into coaching. So you were 22 years old,
Mm-hmm.
and you were coaching at Aurora Central High School,
Rural Central High School.
right? Did
Yep.
JV for a couple years, varsity assistant. Then you moved back to California and you were an assistant coach under Paul Trevor.
Yep. Great Paul Trevor.
A great guest of ours.
Yep.
And alongside our friend Alex Pribble.
Alex Pribble, one of my good buddies, and pretty much family with the Pribbles. I work with Aaron at Tam and helped run Hawks Hoops with him after Alex kind of dropped it to me.
Yep.
So the Pribble crew. But yeah, that was a master class in coaching.
I'm sure. And that was at San Francisco State.
At SF State. Yep. Indebted to Trev for that opportunity and just learned a ton from the both of them. I'm sure we'll shine a little bit through the interview later on, but
totally.
That was a blast. You're coaching basketball all day, every day, but
yeah. Trev is, we talk about force of personality a lot. I mean, he is kind of the epitome of that. And then you took the job at Tam your first time around from 2014 to 2020. You took over a 1-13 team and you made a turnaround. You made the playoffs. Every year in that 6-year span, you were NCS runner-up in 2017. You lost to powerhouse Moreau Catholic. And then you were MCAL runner-up in 2018, and you lost to Jonas Honix Branson.
Yep.
Team, right?
Yeah. Jonas, tough to beat.
Yeah, he's a pretty good coach. Yeah. And then you stepped away from Tam, and we'll get into that. But then recently, last December, you came back. And you took over, and now you are the head coach. And we would love to talk about your experiences and going forward. We will say that one of the reasons you stepped away was you had tragedy. You've dealt with adversity. Your wife passed away 2 years ago.
Yep.
We're gonna talk about that and how you've been able to cope with that. But we really appreciate you being here, and we appreciate everything that you've done for Marin Hoops. You're a name that people. You mentioned the name Tim Morgan, and we're like, oh God, Tim, great player, great coach. So why don't we start at Tam and where we are today, which is there was some flux last year, right? So our buddy Neil Chavez was there. He stepped away. You come in December. Discuss taking over a program mid-year. That can't be easy.
No, not easy, not ideal. I think it was helpful that I had experience there, knew the community well, and Tam is a special community, and had a lot of relationships there from teaching for 12 years there, coaching for the 6 that I did. But anytime you step in, it's tough. And the one thing I did appreciate is the boys. They were already playing hard. Neil did a good job there and had those kids playing hard. It's a testament to how they cared for him and Neil cared for them as well. I don't know what happened, but I'm sure that wasn't an easy decision on his part.
Yeah.
But coming in mid-year it's tough. But I came in and told all the kids, I'm going to coach you hard. We're going to try to bring some joy back as well. Get some more structure things. You got to be yourself as a coach, right? I can carry over necessarily what
you can't be Neil.
What had going on, right?
Totally.
And so I kind of wanted to start from scratch and build kind of my culture stuff as well. And told them I don't know what the win losses are going to be. I mean, I had 3 non-league games and jumped right into league. And MCAL, teams are ready to go in MCAL.
And it was a tough league.
It was a tough league. And, we came in and we battled. We almost took down Sam Run in the opener. And, next thing TL was very much ready for us. And that was a dogfight. We almost escaped. San Rafael had a great year. We lost on a buzzer beater.
Huh.
Compete against a quarter against, Archie.
Yeah.
And, they throw a little wrinkle 1-3-1 at us. And
way to go, Duffy.
No, it's hard to make that adjustment when you've had the kids for
Duffy has a comment.
Not as long.
We didn't expect that to work. We threw that in there because Redwood was our next game and they were all there. They're scouting.
Yep.
So we were like, let's throw in the 1-3-1 for a couple minutes so that then Redwood's going to have to, spend time and practice scouting for it.
Yep.
And then it worked.
Can we talk about
it
this?
Never really worked in practice, but we got some steals and just.
Right. That makes you feel a lot better.
So Tim, we're gonna air some dirty laundry here. Duffy already opened the kimono. So our friend Tom Poser, assistant coach for Redwood, he tells us he was at your game, and they spent multiple days of practicing against the 1-3-1, and then of course they didn't see it.
Yep.
Right.
You're playing chess.
It would have been great if we then beat Redwood.
Yeah,
I would be happy.
There's this guy named TT Carr who's pretty good.
He's pretty good. Jay's gonna kill me for this, but I'd like to take some. I needed some wins this year.
Yeah,
we held TT to 5 points. Boxing 1 and made it tough on him.
Yeah,
he didn't start on senior night. He probably played a quarter and a half because they were blowing us out in the fourth quarter.
I was at that game.
But yeah, we had a tough time scoring. But
you held them down in the first half.
Yeah, my kids, they battled their butts off. And that's the one thing coming in halfway through, that's all I expected. Wins and losses are going to take care of themselves.
Yeah.
I'm a big process over product guy. Take care of the little things and get better. And even though we only got one win in that stretch, my alma mater, Nevada,
Bittersweet.
yeah, you can see the kids getting excited and the buy-in and the progress, right?
Yeah.
I spent my first game back. So only 7 kids took off it was December 23rd, I think was my first practice.
Okay.
And I'm calling timeout in the first quarter to get on them for body language, head down, stuff you do in the summer, right? You know, pull them out real quick to sit on the bench, you're going right back in.
Yeah.
A lot of those things that thought about, do I do this now? But that's the only thing I know how to do, right? Is get the little things out of the way so you can coach basketball and do that. You know, I don't want to be coaching effort and those things. In high school, you still have to kind of do that at times.
Yeah.
The culture's set.
Sure.
But credit to those kids, man, they bought in and, you know, they were starting to feel good about themselves and they knew they were competing and learning. And, you know, I was very proud of them because it's not an easy thing to do, to
It's great.
get a new coach halfway through and expectations change or style change, whatever it may be. And, you know, they worked their butts off for me. So I hopefully set the tone for this next year.
That's awesome.
So you had a bunch of seniors this year,
Yep.
and they kind of came together. It sounds like they really salvaged kind of their senior year, so that was great for them. But you also have some young players, a couple on varsity, and then your JV program had a very good year. So what's your outlook, with your returners for next year?
Yeah, tryouts are going to be competitive. You know, we have some returners coming back, obviously. The JV team was one win away from winning the league title. They lost to MC in the last game of the season.
Great.
For the title. So got some decent pieces there that
A lot of size.
A lot of size.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, they play hard. They're tough, which I like. I did lose Sam Newmeyer. He's moving back to the city. He's going to university. So that's a huge hit. All league sophomore, all league.
Richer.
University.
Yeah.
So we'll miss him, but told him, his credit, he made the phone call to me, which I, was as a coach of young men and people.
That says a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It's important to have the kids kind of take the lead on that. And it was a good conversation, and I'll be his biggest fan and cheerleader.
Yeah. You think he'll
but
play? I mean, I'm sure he'll play with university. Is he a starter on that squad?
Universities, man, they got a lot of guys.
I
would, yeah. He works his butt off. He's 5 a.m. at Bay Club working with Stevie.
Yeah.
Like he eats and sleeps basketball. So he'll get in the mix.
Yeah.
He would be our best player and go-to guy here.
Right.
So we'll miss out on that, I guess.
Yeah. And only a junior, right? He's gonna be a junior.
He's gonna be a juniunior. Yeah. I got a couple guys coming back. Portos Oliveira put up some big numbers for me. I think his confidence skyrocketed when I came back a little bit.
Yeah.
Just because I let people start from scratch, and I have a relationship with his family. I taught his brother, coached his brother a little bit. I think that was big too coming in. Some of those seniors I had at camp when they were like 3rd or 4th graders.
Yeah, I was going to ask if you knew any of these kids when you took over. So you've known some of these kids just being in the community.
Yeah, and taught at the school.
Right.
Yeah, I wasn't super I watched basketball from afar. Always offered my guidance and things to all the coaches that were there after me. It was on them to do that, and they was just fine.
So Pribble coached at Tam.
He did,
well, right?
Yeah. So funny things. When I came back from Colorado to coach at SF State, I was kind of before him, and he came in the same year.
Oh, okay.
Right. So he became Trev's head assistant, and I came in as like the 3rd assistant. But then a couple months in, I outworked the 2nd guy that they had, and I became the 2nd assistant, and I got to travel with the team because the 3rd.
Yeah.
Not a lot of money at SF State. It's only 2 assistants get to travel and stuff.
Got it.
But yeah, he was a Tam coach prior, and then Michael Cofino was there when we were both at SF State.
Okay.
And 2 years of college was great. It was master class, but I missed the classroom a little bit.
Yeah.
Paycheck too a little bit.
Sure.
And I do feel like I'm a better fit for high school. College was great. I learned a ton from Trev and Alex. Impact I think I have with the high school age group is my jam, and
Totally get that.
Yeah. So then you're a better fit with the age of the players and the students. Is that what you mean? That's a better fit for you?
Yeah. I think like I said, the college group was great. I worked with the younger guys mainly to kind of build that up, and Trev gave me a great opportunity to learn all the ropes. Working under him kind of gave me the confidence to be able to be a varsity coach. I went into college thinking I could pursue all that, and but my late wife and I were getting closer to get married and those things, and so that plays a factor. And I think Trev knew that early on. I think, and especially when I took a part-time teaching job at TAM the 2nd year, so I was kind of juggling both.
Right.
It ended up being a great thing walking into TAM and being able to take over that program. And it's historically they've had some very, very good teams. I actually played against the state title team as a freshman, but the consistency of like playoffs year in, year out, not always a thing with Tam. And I was able to come in and kind of accomplish that, which is a credit to the community, their buy-in. I worked my butt off to make sure I had connects from, Ballina, Stinson, Marin City, Mill Valley, just being available.
Yeah.
And I just had good people on staff. Like my first staff was my dad, Stevie Johnson, Jay DeMaestri, and my long-term assistant, long time back with me, Lorenzo Bynum. Like that was a great,
Amazing.
And it's a pretty impressive crew.
and yeah, we learned a lot from each other. Jay runs some of the same stuff that I did, and he's actually made some of the stuff that I did better.
Yeah.
Stevie and I, like we had some good talks and always agree on things, but it was all good conversations. I was able to learn.
Yeah.
As a young coach, like I want the best people around me, and I let assistants take it. Like you'll see Zoe nowadays, like take a huddle. Let me talk to this ref. Go take a huddle. Like especially as a young assistant at the time, I think I was very valuable for him.
Yeah.
Stevie's like, I got this idea. I'm like, they don't have to hear from me all the time.
Right.
I think it's important for assistants to have
That's
that.
great.
And I learned that from Trev at the college level,
Yeah.
Alex, because he would pass a lot to Al on that, and eventually me with some scouts, which were nerve wracking, but
It's interesting. Like it's been really fun doing this over the last couple of years with Duffy to talk to a bunch of great coaches. And like, for example, I'm thinking of Chad Stewart, great guy, great coach, good friend of
love
ours.
Chad, good friend.
Chad was very honest in this. He's like, I'm a bad assistant coach. He's like, I need to be the head coach.
Mhm.
And it's interesting because so Duffy and I both have been assistant coaches the last couple of years. I was a head coach this last year. I'm now going back to being an assistant coach. I love being an assistant coach. Like I think I like being a head coach as well, but being an assistant is this great kind of best of both worlds.
Absolutely.
You're kind of the good cop at times, right? You're the shoulder for the kid to cry on. You're the resource if they're afraid to ask the head coach a question. But you also, depending on your relationship with the head coach, you can have agency, you can have opinions, you can have input.
Mhm.
But it's interesting. Some people are more geared to be a head coach and some people are more geared to be an assistant coach. So what do you prefer? Do you prefer being the head person or do you?
I prefer being the head coach.
Yeah.
I definitely do. But there's a lot of value in being the assistant coach, especially coming in where I went in with this. I'm learning everything that I can here to just get better. I'm that way, even as a head coach, like I always want to learn. Like, after every season, I'm like, oh, I could have done this different. I could have done that different. Right. After games, and I'm always in that process of just trying to be better and trying to be better for my guys.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of value in being an assistant coach. Like I said, there's times in practice where I step back and be the assistant coach. I've been with Zoe for a long time. I did it with Stevie, and Jay is my JV coach.
Yeah.
Brought him in to teach up a 1-3-1, ironically, for a practice. And like they're towards the end of my first stint, like I know Zoe wanted to be head coach, and he was there. He's super energetic. He's a great little teacher. Pretty much gave him the defense, right? So it's like defensive drills. You have 20 minutes. I want to see this and kind of run with it.
Great.
And so in games, he was like, let's switch it up. And I had the final call. That's part of it, like being the head coach.
Of course.
But there's a lot of value, and my assistants know that when they feel valued, they're okay with me making the call, I feel like.
Yeah.
So I noticed this a little bit, with our staff this year at Archie, where, we would have 4 assistants sometimes on the bench, and there's a lot of chatter going on, and there may be 3 different ideas from the assistants that are being generated in the moment, and now you got to take them to the head coach or not, and the head coach has got to make a really quick decision. And I feel like we as assistants maybe didn't funnel our advice to the head coach as efficiently as we can. So in that moment where you have, Stevie and Jay, you've got opinionated assistant coaches, and you might be hearing 2 separate things. What's your preparation and process for receiving that information, then making a decision?
Well, yeah, I think every head coach goes in with a game plan, what they want to see, and with the great coaches in NMCal, they go out the window half the time. But
of course,
you always have kind of a game plan, and I try not to get away from anything that we haven't done yet. I try to keep it as simple as possible. So if there's a suggestion that's like, let's go to this press, I'm like, well, it's going to work. I'm like, I'm sure it will, but we haven't really practiced it, right? It's kind of hard to do that. So if that's one of them, great. And sometimes it's a thought that pops in your head, and you don't think, and you're like, okay, you just kind of put it in the back of your head.
Yeah.
And you could kind of do it later. And once you work with guys long enough, and you have those conversations, like we talked all the time, before practice, after practice, via text, like you have a good sense. They got a sense of like what I needed to hear versus what I wanted to hear.
Right.
And, there were times, especially in that first year, turning the whole culture around where, I had that kind of Paul Trevor, like bulldog mentality. Like,
yep.
and the intensity and everything, because I'm trying to turn the culture around fast. Got some of the suggestions were like, all right, they're high school, like, let's take a step back. And those things were good, but some of the in-game stuff, Stevie was adamant we needed to, at times, to, we need to look at this look on offense, or this, let's run this. And I'm like, we're not good enough yet in what our base is. We're not good enough yet. Like, take it slower. And, we eventually got to what he wanted because his thoughts and ideas were great, perfect. And that set us up for a successful league season, right? It's that balance of like, is it good now? I'm going to pocket the back of my head because I like that for later. But right now, you got to focus on what you feel is going to be best for the team, and really try to simplify. I mean, I came in that first year and I'm like, let's run this, whatever. I think we're running 2 guard, kind of what Jay runs. Yeah. Pitty used to run, and I'd say Marin, and Rick ran at MC. And I had all these options off of it, and we could barely get for the first basic flex action, right?
It's always the way.
All right, so we're gonna stick with that for a couple month or two. And so you learn a lot on the fly.
Yeah. I was talking to Tim Lacoste, Dominican women's head coach. He's a great guy. He's coached college ball for 30 years, and we were talking about assistant versus head coach, and he's like, assistants make suggestions, head coaches make decisions, and that's how you have to look at it. Because I was talking about how I've gone from assistant to head coach, and now I'm going back to assistant, and he said you just got to remember that you make suggestions, not decisions now. Yeah.
And I love suggestions. I want my coaches to feel empowered. It helps them, and it helps me, and it helps the players, and it helps the program, because kid comes out upset why he's taken out, they don't know, and coach is in it, and it's like that assistant coach needs to be able to get them ready to go back.
Yeah.
Right. And so they have that trust of the players because they've seen him. They see that I trust him. Right. And the players see that, then it's easier.
For sure.
Yeah. No, again, I learned that from
Trev.
So Trev, this is just shout out to you, I guess, huh?
Come on, Trev. This does remind me of, I can't remember if I've told this story on this podcast, but it's one of my favorite stories. I'm going to tell it real quick. Doc Rivers, the great Doc Rivers, has a great thing, but he was asked one time in an interview, how do you handle timeouts? And he said, well, I huddle with my assistant coaches, and they tell me what they want to do. I ignore them, go talk to the players. The players ignore me and just go out and do whatever the hell they want to do. He's like, that's an NBA timeout. Now, he was being facetious. That was his Clipper years. You had DeAndre Jordan and Chris Paul. You had these strong personalities, Blake Griffin. But I just thought it's kind of funny, because I've had so many times, I'm sure we all have, where we've been in a huddle and we've locked eyes with our players and said, okay, here's what we're doing, and they just go out there and it's as if you didn't say a word to them. Right.
The beauty of the coaching, man. The beauty of coaching.
So easy. Okay, bringing it back to Tam, and then we'll move on. But so goals for this off season. So here we are, we're in spring, we're coming up on summer. This is kind of, you had a little preview last year, you had half the season, but now it's your program. So what are your goals for your kids? Are they playing club basketball? Are they training? What do you got?
Yeah, so spring is, a time for me to reassess. It's time for them to go play for someone else. Some of them are playing a little Tam basketball club that was started a couple of years back. I don't know if Sam, he plays in the city. Portos is playing for Team Hello with Jarrell, Zoe. So we got guys all around.
Great.
And I'm fine with that. I think a different voice is better. I don't want mine drowned out during the season. But it's a big summer to kind of reset the culture. Some of the things I was doing early in December that I would like to take care of in the summer. Building skill development based on our concepts and fundamentals. So a lot of that, and just, getting after defensively. I want to be a better defensive team, and then finding ways to be more efficient offensively. Our assist numbers in my short time there were the greatest. I came in and guys were over dribbling like crazy. And so I put in an offense that's more predicated on player movement and ball movement. And I've ran dribble drive in the past, because I had the guards to do it. Right now, it looks like I have a team that we need to set good screens, learn how to read cuts.
Pass and cut.
Get in the paint. I want paint touches, and I want guys playing off too. We got guys taking off that are out of,
Just basically watch Jimmy Butler.
Pretty much. And, that's the thing, is like
a team full of Jimmy Butler.
Team full of Jimmy Butler.
Nice. You watch college basketball, those guys are coming off 2 all the time.
Oh, yeah. Villanova, Jay Wright.
Those Jonas Branson teams were killer getting the paint off too, and not knowing how to guard out of that,
Yeah. Jalen Brunson's footwork.
You
never know which foot he's going to use as a pivot, right?
So it's kind of setting the culture. We're in some local summer league. I'll get some looks at guys that maybe borderline that were on the JV team last year that can earn a spot on varsity. A couple freshmen that deserve a look. They'll be sophomores, and then just kind of got a head start in a weird way in December.
Yeah,
because I did really start from scratch because I didn't know how to do it any other way.
So for folks who don't know, this is also the time of year, it's actually probably done now, but this is where you schedule your next season, right? And the athletic director and the coach are actively involved in that schedule. You get 26 games. The MCAL, we've talked ad nauseum, we won't go into it again, but the new schedule with the MCAL. So now you have to schedule a lot more non-league games.
Yep.
How are you approaching that?
Well, done.
You're done?
I'm done.
Okay.
Taken care of early. I told the AD I'll take care of it. All
So
3 levels done.
So strength of schedule, do you want to challenge your kids? Are you trying to get some more winnable games? Like how do you approach that?
It's a mix. In the past, especially after my first year or two, when we were kind of ascending to compete for MCAL titles and NCS titles, I would more get teams that we are even with us that I felt like we should beat, but toss up, you don't play well, you're going to lose.
Okay.
And then teams above us. This year, a lot of those still, but probably a couple teams that I feel like need to learn how to win. Hopefully we can take care of that some of it this summer. I mean, we were up 14 against San Rafael going into like the 4th or early 4th, and they just didn't know how to play with the lead. San Rafael changes defense, and we're driving right into the teeth of it. Call timeout, talk about it, draw it up, stay out of there. We go about, quick shots, not moving the ball, got excited.
Kind of like the Rockets.
I was literally just going to say that. So this is
exactly.
Again, we want these. We don't want these episodes to just be super of the specific moment. We want them to be timeless. But it is interesting. The Warriors just beat the Rockets last night in Game 7, and you watch down the stretch. Steph and Jimmy, who didn't have particularly good games going into the fourth quarter, both just made play after play down the stretch to win the game. And Houston did not make those plays. And Houston's got a bunch of young, super talented, athletic guys. I think Houston will be very good going forward, but they haven't really been there before. And you look at the Warriors, and when they really needed it, everybody stepped up and made plays. And learning how to do that is just big. It's really big, and having that experience.
Yeah, and a lot of it goes back to just habits. It's the habit, it's the process.
Yep.
If you just focus on continuing to do the little things and you don't worry about the outcome. And I think they wanted to win so bad, and that kind of played into their head like a little bit, and you just keep detail oriented, focus on that. Like it's going to work out.
Yeah, start to play not to lose in that situation. Right?
Yeah, so learning those things. So scheduling's done.
Okay, good.
Got 3 tournaments. I'm going to Chico. Rob Barty, former Nevada coach.
He reached out to us. We're going to have Rob on. Rob,
nice.
We're going to have you on.
So I'm going to this Chico tournament. He's hosting. I used to go up to the Pleasant Valley one, so I'm familiar with Chico. Nice to get away and some team bonding.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's you just gotta get ready for the league, man. It's a tough league, and I want to be ready for it.
Yep.
So we've talked a little bit about this with the new. So TAM is base Division 2 for NCS.
Yes.
Okay. So we've talked a little bit about with the new system, the ranking system for NCS max preps, that early season success can kind of be counterproductive for you in terms of your later NCS seeding, because you might be bumped up a division. Maybe that's not in the mix for you next year, but maybe in 1 or 2 years, who knows? Does that come into your scheduling, decision making at all? We're like, well, let's look at this early season, and we really don't want to, if we have success, we don't want to be looking at being bumped up to Division 1. Maybe we'd love to end up in Division 3 NCS.
Yeah. Goes into play a little bit. I was just nervous to get games. Last year, they only had 20 or 21 scheduled games.
Oh, interesting.
So I was just like, I just threw out a bunch in first come, first serve.
Yeah.
Mostly D2, but I tried to get some D3s. I think I have a couple of D3s as well. But you still got to be 500 in your division or league or overall. So I think I went more D2 heavy for those reasons.
Right.
And I just, when you get to the playoffs, you're going to play good teams anyway, no matter what division. I'm a big believer of you got to play the best to beat the best,
Yeah.
Or be the best, you got to beat the best.
Yeah.
And I don't run away from challenges. I think that's why we were able to compete against Moreau in that NCS final so well. It was like we just took it head on.
Yeah, that's great.
And it's good for the kids. I've lost by 30. I've won by 30. Lost by 40. It's part of it. It's humbling, and it's just, it all comes back to the kids. And I think anything as a high school coach, especially, like there's so much value in teaching life lessons through basketball.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's my biggest takeaway and why I love it so much. I love the game, but like that's one reason I want to be back too, is like I miss that aspect of that and the relationships you build, former players are coming back still, those kind of things.
So this is Chad Stewart came up earlier. So Chad sent some, you'll be surprised, he sent some possible questions for
That
you.
doesn't sound like
It
Chad.
doesn't-
Shocker. Thanks, Chad.
Actually, this is a good one. So when you were at TAM for your first stint, you were also teaching on campus, and now that you've come back, you are an off-campus coach.
Yep.
Correct. So the question is, how do you see that distinction of being an on-campus coach where you're seeing the kids all the time and you have regular touches with them versus off-campus, pros and cons of being on versus off, and how you're handling it this time around?
Yeah, that's a great question. So yeah, I was at TAM for a long time and being on campus. I was also teaching leadership class when I was coaching basketball. So David Murphy had been somewhere on the campus, but I was there a lot. But that ignited kind of the student section, and we had a really strong one for that stint, which made it a lot of fun. Friday nights were awesome. Yeah, you're able to check in with kids right away, and not just on basketball, on the personal side of things. Teacher comes to you, is like, hey, see this kid struggling, whatever it may be. You have a better pulse on it, definitely. And I think you can tackle a lot of those things. They feel comfortable with you. Being off campus, I'm at Tam High right now, the little independent schools right by Redwood.
Yeah.
Just a lot more flexibility for me and taking care of my kids. It's not far to get over there, so I pop in occasionally, and I'll do that more as the season approaches. But just just got to communicate better via text. Yeah, kids still text. I'm not going to get Snapchat to do it, but
That's the line
they know
right
they gotta text me back.
Don't send them TikToks. Yeah.
Right, and it's all on the front end. How you build that connection, getting to know them a little bit. It's not just basketball. It's like, what are your hobbies? What are your interests? What motivates you? What's your why? Things we'll get into this summer. And then connect with each other as well, because they need to take care of each other. And one of the reasons I think we're so successful in my first stint is building that family-like culture where it's not just me looking out for them, we're looking out for each other and those type of things. And yeah, that's played out really well just in my post-basketball life, now back in it. But yeah, just kind of tackling it on the early end so they know I'm there for them and they can come to me for anything. Because I've helped kids through a lot of challenges in their life that are off the court.
Do you have connections still on campus, I imagine, where you have friends, their teachers?
Aaron Prillo, 6'6", he teaches with his baseball bat sometimes, some intimidation, but I'm still close with the AD over there, close with all the teachers. And yeah.
So you would know if something's going on with the kids, like off the court, you're going to kind of get that intel.
Oh yeah.
Connection.
I had a couple of things pop up this year where I got an email from a district employee, hey, this is what's going on.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a bit more challenging for sure, but I think
you're making it work.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we've kind of touched a little bit on your coaching style. I mean, I heard a lot of, defense first and effort, keeping it simple. Why don't you walk us through a typical Coach Tim Morgan practice?
Yeah, so they're on time, laced up, ready to go. I don't like starting late.
Yeah.
Depends on time of year. Sometimes if we're the first team in there, I'm getting there or whatever, they should be getting some warm-up shots in, partner up, form shooting into things that I've already told them they need to work on, bigs, working on big stuff or ball handling, whatever it may be, just to get their mind right. And then from there, the warm-ups, whatever it may be, we kind of jump into a 1v1 full court almost every day. That to me, that's huge. One is conditioning. We still run our lines and do all that kind of stuff, but I like conditioning with the ball if you can.
Yeah.
It's a competitiveness. You can guard 1v1 full, you can guard 1v1 in the half court.
Do you go 1v1 live full the whole way, or do you do it kind of like zigzag to half court? And then
Live
you go
full way in the lines, volleyball line to sideline.
Okay.
And then it's try to score once you get to half court.
That's a Trev drill.
Yeah. Every once in a while, we'll mix it up too. We put a coach at top so they get there. It's them and they work on getting open, right throughs, right? So you can mix up and challenge it. 2v2 sometimes as well.
Yep.
Start there. I like to start defense first, but sometimes you got to flip it.
Yeah.
I want them guarding tired too. You shell drill every day. You mix up the flow, and whether it's guarding on balls, whether it's guarding cuts, and the team runs like a flex type of action. I'm practicing that in shell drill. So that's a daily.
Yep.
4v5 scramble. That's a big one. That
4v5 scramble.
Yeah.
Okay. Talk about that one. So
that's 5 offensive, 4 defensive, strong behind the ball.
Yep.
And you're flying around, right? If you can fly and close out and keep guys in front of you with 4 guys, you can definitely do it with 5. And it just builds in that kind of that dog mentality on defense that you need to be able to fly around. And biggest thing, communicate. High school kids have a hard time communicating on the court, talking. It's always one of my biggest struggles. I think a lot of high school coaches would agree with that. Love that one. Toughness drills, rebounding.
Yeah.
Those kind of things.
The 4v5, are the 5 stationary, or can the 5 they can move?
Yeah, you can I start stationary until whistle blow or lies.
Exactly. Then it goes live.
Then it goes live.
Yeah, we do that one. too. It's really good to teach rotations.
Yeah, rotations, and it's like defense is hard. You got to be able to fly around. It's not gonna be perfect. Yeah, then offensively, it's a lot of skill breakdown. I like a lot of disadvantage stuff. Even in offense, we'll go like sometimes I call it 21-55 because it starts 2-on-1 free throw, inbound 2-on-1,
3-on-2,
2-on-2, 3-on-2. And
Yeah.
then you can get in your actions, right? And sometimes I do that for 4 minutes because I want them seeing when can we take advantage of a fast break? When do I got to pull it back and get into our flow?
Yeah.
But a lot of skill breakdown. A lot of our shooting drills are hopefully within the offensive stuff. Sometimes you just got to shoot. So I have some fun full court ones that we do. Everything's timed. Everything's points.
Yeah.
A lot of competitiveness. Loser run.
Do you film your practices?
We have the huddle camera.
Yeah.
I wish I had more time to look at those more, but it's there if I need to. If I notice the guys aren't hustling, I have a bad practice, I'll call it out and show them because film never lies.
Yep. Great.
Yeah, I don't like standing around. I don't like. We have,
And
we have a lot of hoops in there. Let's use them. Sometimes you need to teach. Sometimes you need to break it down. Sometimes it needs to be slow. But let's venture out. Let's make mistakes fast. So as we know, success is built through failures. And I teach my guys one of my big philosophies is to be comfortable being uncomfortable. And I want to push that tempo and ideology in a practice environment. So games are somewhat easier.
90 minutes or 2 hours. What's your typical?
Early in the season 2 because it's more slow down in teaching. But once you start getting into games and stuff, I think hour and a half is important. You can always go 2 hours as long as there's some film in there. Film sessions with high schoolers need to be 15, 20 minutes, no more. It's just for focus. Huddle's great with clipping up things for that. So you can make it too, but like in gym stuff, I like a good hard 90 once we get in the flow of things and things are kind of taught.
So let's go back to Tim Morgan, the player, because obviously 19 a game.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it was in the 18s and we're lying and it's now 19, but it's fine.
I think it might have been 19 for the whole season, but I think it was like 18.5 in league.
All right, we're going to check it. Duffy's going to do some. He's going to ask ChatGPT right now.
18.4 maybe.
Okay, MCal when you were playing, or Marin hoops when you were playing, you got the Pribbles, the Zach Borrello, Pete Elliott, that squad. You got Mike Turner. Discuss the league at that time and.
So 2000 freshman year, I got the state championship TAM team.
Yep.
Ralph Wilson, actually, legendary Ralph Wilson, has a picture. He didn't know it was me at the time. I go into his office. He became a supervisor at TAM. I started over there.
Yep.
There's a picture of Michael Tabb like jumping over me. I'm taking a charge as a scrawny freshman. I was a tough, scrappy player. I grew up going to pirate camps. I kind of brought that mentality to how I played.
Who were your pirate camp coaches? Do you remember?
I don't remember exactly who the coaches were, but Trev was there, Chad Stewart was there,
Yeah.
Ace
Thielen.
A lot of legendary guys. And so anyways, so play against them, Tab and those guys, and then the Will Venable team, Stevie Johnson, Gene Barnes,
Branson,
Justin Hovler.
Yep.
And those were tough teams. I'm sure I'm missing a bunch of other squads too.
So you mentioned Turner. So Turner was at Nevada with you
freshman year.
His freshman year.
So I was a junior. He played varsity as a freshman there.
And then he transferred.
He transferred. Yeah, that was tough.
So back in the day, Novato. I mean, you've always had the Novato San Marin mix, but Marin Catholic has pulled a lot of kids from Novato. So you're talking about Novato's a big area with a big population.
Yeah, you're essentially breaking down into thirds, right?
Right.
Because anyone that plays CUI or St. Anthony's is usually one of the top teams. We had 2 A teams playing against each other for championships from 5th grade to 8th grade. The St. Rita's team with the Pribble crew.
Yeah.
They were tough, and in the mix we played them in a championship game. But then high school comes, San Marin gets a third, and Novato gets a third, and MC gets I'd say a third is probably not that much, but it feels like
maybe 10-20% go to Branson or
other guys go other way, but
get the Peyton Malarkeys who go to Branson.
Yeah, so waters down a little bit, and one of my best friends, Alec Montalvo, went to MC and had a great career there, and don't never take this up personally. It was great for him, but sadly it was like I grew up playing with him, and it would have been fun to still have that in high school. And Nevada became a football school my sophomore year, which I also played, and so our best athletes going into junior, senior year stopped playing basketball. So overall, the talent level is down. Dan Cortez, my head coach, who's back at the helm, the men's coach.
Yep, at Novato now.
Dan, if you're listening, looking forward to competing against you. Mm-hmm. But just talent-wise is down. So 18, 19, 4-year varsity started. It was some volume shooting because kind of had to at times.
Sure.
But I was tough. I was scrappy. I would take charges consistently. I mean, my mom always used this. I'd be on the floor half the game, taking charges, loose balls.
So you were clearly a very good player. Did you think about playing in college? How did you make that decision?
I did a little bit. I wanted to bigger school in that sense, and AAU wasn't a big thing. So like D3s and all those schools,
Yeah.
like, didn't really know that was a thing. Wasn't really recruited, probably because our, didn't win a lot of games. I think I mentioned before we met in the little pre-meet here. I think I won 7 league games in my 4 years of varsity starter. Just
Yeah.
it
It was a tough league.
tough league,
Yeah.
tough go. So that was one of the reasons.
Yeah.
As well. So I went to Boulder, but I played a lot of pickup. You get when you play enough, you get to play on the competitive courts, and eventually, football guys would come out, basketball guys would come in the off season. So I got to play against them a lot. They like me spotting up in the corner as a shooter and knew when to cut, knew how to play.
Yeah.
I'd get owned defensively, but so I got a taste of like D1, and I'm definitely not that level basketball player. I'll tell you that much.
And you, what position did you play in football?
I was a running back, corner, and punt kick returner. So I got some D3 offers there, a little scrawny, 135, 140, but quick.
Okay.
Helped me in basketball. It helped me with my toughness and hard nose aspect. So
Yeah. Did you have a hard time transitioning from football to basketball, and like in high school, when football season's over, now you got basketball season?
I was always getting shots up.
Okay.
DC always gave me a key to the gym. Back then, it wasn't a huge thing to do, and my backyard was there, so I was able to get in and get shots up.
Yeah.
My dad became a rebounder. He was the reason I'm this deep into basketball. My players call him Coach Dad because 2 Coach Morgans. A little confusing.
Yeah. Was he your CYO coach?
He didn't coach CYO. He coached Park and Rec. But I mean, he's the basis for everything. Even now, just having him on staff is great. It's really special.
That's awesome.
He's more of the eyes of like, we're missing fundamentals here. Because as a coach, you can get zoned in on just like prepping for this game, prepping for that game. Our offense stinks, our defense stinks.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, we're not coming to jump stops. You can't run your offense if you don't set a good screen or something. So he's very valuable in that sense, and just always there to just bounce ideas off. And just, you want people you trust, and I have that. But having your dad there is special. So
that's great.
Yeah.
What is Scott's coaching experience beyond coaching with you?
So he's always coached youth stuff, coached a little bit AAU, like I said, me, Alec Von Talrop, and Pribble, Elliott, those guys. Then he was an assistant coach for Reed Nottingham at Nevada for a few years.
Okay.
Coached freshman basketball there as well. He coached a freshman team of mine at Tam one of the years. And then he actually quit his insurance job for a long time to run basketball camps in Novato. And then ended up morphing into with Rick Winters at MBBA, the K-2 program. That was my dad's baby. He created
Oh, cool.
that.
Wow.
Yeah, he created that. And talking about assistant head coach is like, he's a great head coach. He would say lower level stuff, but he thinks he would categorize himself as the better fit for as an assistant coach at the varsity level or stuff like that. And his value goes a long, long way. And it's very special being able to coach with your pops.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, I love seeing him around. He's at Archie. He's around the facility.
Well, it's funny because like I'm known in the district and the community, and kind of helped him kind of get into the job there a little bit. And it's like, oh, you're Scott's son. I'm like, no. I have like 4 or 5 years on him in his district.
Yeah.
That's Tim's dad.
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
That's my dad for you. He's the mayor anywhere he goes.
Yeah.
And,
Great guy.
Yeah, we have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So in addition to your dad, who are your influences? So like, who are your favorite players growing up? Who are the coaches you look to as influences? Who do you like?
Well, growing up, man, Timmy Hardaway, being a Warrior fan.
Run TMC,
Run
baby.
TMC, right here. Penny Hardaway. I mean, I was like late elementary school, early middle school. I had the sweet Magic starter pullover jacket.
Sweet.
Man, if his knees hadn't gone.
I know.
Penny was legit.
Hey, Michael Jordan, everybody. Mitch Richmond, loved.
Love Mitch.
Yeah, those kind of guys that can good with the ball. They're tough and
Yeah.
can score a little bit. And then coaches, kind of looking at different styles and things. Kind of playing up and down and playing fast. I like Shaka Smart's like energy.
Yeah.
Always been a big fan of his. Jay Wright, the way he just kind of teaches the game, and a lot of the footwork stuff that
Playing off 2 feet.
Playing off 2 feet. And
Yeah.
to be honest, in my first stint, I thought that was a focus. I don't think I was as great on that as I could have been. Something I definitely want to get back to. Yes, those kind of guys. Yeah, I mean, my dad's probably the strongest coaching influence that I've ever had, and he still coaches me up as a head coach in his role. And sometimes he separates, says it's coming from dad, it's coming from coach, and that goes a long way.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
valuable
Right.
Beautiful.
to have that. So
Great. Awesome. Well, I did want to talk about, it's not easy to talk about, but let's talk about the adversity that you had to go through. You lost your wife. Tell us whatever you want to tell us about that story, but really interested in how basketball has helped you kind of cope with that.
I think I threw it out there a little bit already. Basketball is just any sport, but basketball in particular is a great sport to teach life lessons with.
Yeah.
I'm a teacher, coach, educator, and so being able to I've been an open book about this since day one. One, it's healing for me, teaching young men to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
And emotions are okay, and being there for each other. That's kind of like my message and takeaway, which also helps me at the same time. She passed away 2 years ago, troubles from MS. I stepped away when Sierra was on her way being born about 4 years ago. She just turned 4. Just to spend some time having the greatest teaching and coaching job as being dad.
Yeah.
Right. I just wanted some time there, knowing I can always get back into coaching. But yeah, so obviously very tough, very difficult basketball. Yeah, for me, it's been healing. I came back after 2 years in December, and I think that was the perfect time, because if it was happening in like November, the off season, I'd be too scared to do a full season.
Yeah.
Because my kids come first. They're my number ones.
And how old are your kids?
TJ's about to be 6, and Sierra just turned 4 in February.
Great.
And so they're at an age where I can bring them to practice, right?
Yeah.
But I had the itch, and I haven't really done anything for myself in a couple of years. So it was a way for me, and instantly people are like, the pep in my step is back, and those kind of things. It's obviously very hard to deal with, but talking about going through that adversity, but even it's not easy to do. And I still have days that are just tough and rough and
Sure.
and everything, as you can expect, especially through the kids' eyes. And I got an army behind me, but like one of the reasons I wanted to come back in December was, at the very least, I came in for a trial run. Is it going to work logistically? Is it going to do that? Because I wanted to be here where I am at. So I'm glad it worked out that way. But the biggest thing for me was to come back and be able to give back to the community that rallied behind me, that supported me a ton. And it kind of just felt like family in that sense. And the basketball community and the TAM basketball community was really, really big in a lot of that.
Great.
Staying in touch with guys, my 15th man, last guy on the bench on my NCS team. You always want to make everyone feel a big part of what you do in family. The first Thanksgiving, he rallied about 15, 20 guys that come the day after to my house to play with the kids and do this and that. And so
It's amazing.
you teach these things about, you give as a coach and a teacher.
Yeah.
You give, and you want them to walk away with it for their own life and their own families. But to see that come full circle for me was very powerful. Not only that, is like to see them use that, knowing that I needed that at that time, was huge. And so being able to, one, talk about it.
Yeah.
This whole masculinity thing is, it's nice to have on the court, but when you're off the court, like, it's important to be able to express it. And I think that's what makes a real man, is like being able to be vulnerable and talk about how you're feeling and how hard it is. And, we don't have perfect days. I've helped kids get through depression, or a breakup, which in high school, as we know, is the end of the world.
That's a big deal.
And basketball is the 2 hours on the court. Like, that's your time to jump into something and kind of take you away from what's going on out there. And it can help you. And teaching them lessons through basketball, practice, games, like, it's adversity, right? And I want them to realize that they're going to be on their own journey sometimes, and having the skills to be able to reach out and ask for help when you need it, and kind of just create on that family aspect of being there for each other. And that's my greatest success. Like, I've won a lot of games, and it's not about winning. I want to win. I'm competitive as can be, but my biggest success is building those young men into the loving, caring people they are. Just had a player come back from the East Coast. He's 27 now, I think. He's home for 3 days. You can see his friends and family. He calls to have lunch with me.
That's
right?
awesome.
Like, those are the things that
Right.
go the longest way. So going through what I went through is tough. We're in a good spot now. I wouldn't do this if I wasn't. Kids are in a good spot.
Yeah.
Bring it to practice or run around the gym. But being able to teach life lessons through the game of basketball, while also having to be healing for me, is like, it doesn't get better than that.
Your kids, so 6 and 4, they're coming to practice. What is their relationship with basketball at this point? Are they becoming little basketball fans, players, or not yet?
TJ likes to do things on his own a little bit, outside in the backyard, basketball, dribble, shoot a little bit. He tried the K through 2. It was a little overwhelming because it was a lot of kids.
Mm-hmm.
Sierra's 4, and she's at practice. We had an open gym on Thursday, and she's like up and down with the ball, trying to dribble, playing soccer. So she's all over the place. TJ right now, like, I think he likes it. I think he's going to take him a little time to get into it. So they're building. They know who Steph Curry is. They know who the Warriors are. They know what team they want to win.
That's important.
So it's a start.
Yeah.
So you had an older brother.
Older
right?
brother.
You
Yeah.
have an older brother. So did you grow up guys beating each other up?
Dude.
Playing one-on-one?
I mean, yeah, he was a very good high school basketball player.
Yeah.
I think his words too is I ended up being a little better, but neighbor across the street, him and my brother is like, all right, lower the hoops in the summer. We're going 2-on-1. Us two versus you two.
Yeah.
What was the age difference? What's the age
He's
difference?
2 grades ahead of me, but 15 months older.
Okay.
He was at late fall birthday.
That's like
His buddies would come
Duffy
over.
and CB.
Very
Yeah.
similar.
Yeah.
To
My brother would come over and just beat me up,
Yeah.
Helping my toughness and physicality and I guess creativity, getting shots off. I had a quick release on my pull up. Still kind of do at 40. And I think I attributed to playing against older guys. And my dad used to bring us to his men's, not pickup games.
Yeah.
Rob Cubble used to have the whole thing in Nevada.
Yeah,
And,
totally.
So at middle school, I'm going to that, and they didn't take it easy on me. I mean, they're not like throwing me down or anything, but they're not letting me get shots. And
It's a rite of passage.
yeah, for sure. We don't see that much anymore in today's basketball.
Tell us about it. We talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
Well, hey, thank you for sharing.
Yeah, appreciate it.
And really proud of you for dealing with this with such great optimism. And I love that you are imparting those messages on to the high school kids.
Appreciate it.
Because
Thank you.
I agree, vulnerability and emotion with young men, that's strength, right?
Totally.
And that old view of masculinity and keep it all inside and
You come to you can't do it alone.
not
I have-
asking for help.
Yeah, I have
right?
an army behind me. My mom and dad are here in San Anselmo now. I'm in Novato, and without them, I'd be completely lost. But it's not just them. My men's league group, the Los. Shout out to the Los there. Chad Stewart, Chris McCune, like his daughter babysits.
Yeah.
Mike Mahoney, good old Chappie, legendary Chappie.
Great guy. Oh, Chappie's awesome. With
you
his
know-
sweaters.
Yeah, right. Big Bob Letch.
That's great.
Sure, I'm missing Jesse Bean, right? Those guys like playing Sunday nights. It's like I have that, but they're more than just the basketball side of things. Like having friends go to Aaron Pribble, right?
Yeah.
Kids are the same age and always checking in, making sure we're okay. So and I know I'm leaving people out on this, but like huge army. So love you guys.
This is another good time for another Chad question I got here. So if you're playing adult league,
I'm taking the first shot of the game.
all right, you knew that was coming. Okay.
Yep. Sorry, Chad. You can't throw me a curveball there. Yeah, it's a running joke. I'm a opening tip. I'm a heat check guy.
Okay.
Opening tip.
Do I have it
Love
today or not?
Opening tip included.
Is it a 3 or is it whatever?
Oh,
whatever
it's normally a 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So would
Pull up
Coach Tim approve
That's
of
funny.
player Tim's shot selection?
Not always, but if you watch some of my teams, I live with them if they're competing and they're
Okay.
commit to defense.
Let it fly.
Yeah, definitely.
Good.
I had a player, Jack Duboff, who ended up being the leading scorer in TAM history for MCAL play. Very similar to my style, better shooter, better scorer overall than I am.
Yeah.
Definitely had his hand up on defense, but you kind of you got to let it fly sometimes when you have the right guys to do it. But it's teaching the right shot selection. And yeah, I wouldn't always agree with my own shooting, but it's hard to break those habits sometimes.
Now, here's an
I
interesting
can get hot still.
interesting thing. I've always found that sometimes, or most of the time actually, the way you shoot in warm-ups like doesn't translate at all to the way you're going to shoot in the game. Have you found that? Like I can be like on fire in the warm-up line, every 3 feels great, and then like the first 4 shots are long off the back of the rim.
I hate making all my shots in warm-ups. Not that I miss on purpose, but like,
Right.
yeah, it's a weird feeling. It doesn't predicate anything. But yeah, it's still fun getting out there with the guys and playing.
That's great.
I'll still be out there. I'm one of the few guys I think that will still take charges, only in playoff games. I'm too old for that.
You guys go get a drink or dinner afterwards?
We do.
Okay.
Yeah, we used Maya was the spot. Craig Pitty started this team 20 plus years ago. Craig
Yeah.
was actually one of my camp counselors growing up as a kid.
Mm.
So I got to coach against him for a few years and
We talked about Craig with
great battles and
Chad and Con.
a lot of respect for each other. We hated losing each other though.
Craig passed away. Was a great coach.
Yep.
Great guy.
Yeah. And so we still do that, get drinks after and, kind of shoot the shit a little bit. And it's moved to my house because Chris's daughter watches the kids. And so it's easier. Kids go to bed and
It's great.
it's just
Perfect.
easier vibe. Allows me to kind of
Right.
not have to, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of fun. It's a great group. And they've been super helpful in everything I've been through.
How many shots per game for Chad would be like the ideal number of shots for Chad? And does he shoot more than the ideal amount?
He probably shoots about right. He's
Okay.
probably a 3 to 4 shots a game. There's some times where, if he hits 1 or 2, we want him to take some more, but he shoots his open ones. He won't back down from those.
Yeah, good.
Yeah. Yeah. He's good for 1 or 2 a game.
Duffy, are you like preparing a scouting report for the opposition here?
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I'll just say we'll get into crunch time here, Tim. But when you were talking about kind of the support you've received and your players coming back and wanting to talk to you or see you when they have limited time and all the support you got. I mean, I had the same kind of conversation with Kirsten McKnight, that, what you put in, you get out, right? And so all the work that you've done, your attitude, your energy, your positivity that you've put into your coaching and just being a member of this community, that's why you get all this back from those people, right?
I appreciate it.
So let's get into crunch time.
Great.
Favorite gym in Marin?
Archie. Or
Even
I
when
agree.
it's raining.
well, better roof back then, I guess.
Yeah, that was bad. Definitely.
Yeah, great floor, great shooting perspective as well. MC probably second for scoring and shooting in there.
Soft rims.
Soft rims. Novato's an advantage when you play there. So I think it's a tough gym to play in.
The lighting.
The lighting. Again, if we weren't that great, but like that gym, that gym that was sold out had a big student section. It might be the loudest gym in Marin.
I was gonna say,
But I had my best games on the road or maybe because I'm playing against, rise up to the occasion against those great teams
Getting
at
fired up.
MC and Drake and stuff. But the floors are always in like great shape. The rims are normally in, so easily those two.
Novato is a very loud, fun environment when it's packed.
Yeah, even coaching against there is never an easy game.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, best player you've played against?
I mean, Pribble's got to be in the mix there. Will Venable, Gene Barnes, those sophomore teams.
Yeah.
I mean, I was a freshman, so it's hard to compare to the 6'4" Brian DeFaris and 6'10" Jair.
Yeah.
So it's kind of far up. And kind of my run there. Yeah, Turner. Even as a sophomore, he was a beast. Jay DeMaestri. I mean, I was a monster. I mean, double guy. Can score it, shoot it.
Jay could play.
Ultimate competitor.
Yep.
Did he wear shoes?
Yes.
Oh, he did.
Yeah.
Okay.
He wore shoes.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, those guys are definitely Pribble up there, Venable.
Those are all good answers.
Yeah.
Okay. Toughest coach to coach against?
Oh man, I got Doug a couple years.
The one.
Yeah, those were his NorCal teams and state title runner-up teams. Jonas. I mean, those were just tough to like penetrate and infiltrate anything that he does. He was tough. Tavani. I coached him against some legendary guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were after a Rick winner, right? Rick wasn't coaching.
Rick was gone by then.
Rick was gone by.
Yeah. He'd probably be in that mix too. But
yeah. Those are all good.
Yeah, they're tough to beat. They're always ready. They're always prepared, and yeah,
we're lucky in Marin.
Yeah, Jonas gave me a couple ass whoopings for sure. I mean,
Well,
when I had really good teams too. It
Yeah.
wasn't just like this is Jonas do this. That's some really good teams, and he made us look like a JV team a couple times.
Well, this isn't really crunch time.
Go ahead.
Okay.
I will permit
I
it.
apologize. So talk a little bit about coaching with huddle and what you can do with huddle versus coaching where I presume you would get film, but it was much more difficult to cut up and more time consuming.
Yeah, so even at SF State, we're still on like the CDs and stuff, and chopping those up. And Alex Pribble taught me how to do that. Like, I know I talked about Trev a lot earlier, but Alex, I mean, I learned a ton from him because we're assistants. We're talking through a lot of things.
Yeah.
That was a master class, man. Him and Trev and Al's conversations. Like, I know basketball, but I'm like 3 steps behind. Right? I eventually get there, but it's like 10 minutes later.
Yeah.
But he kind of showed me how to chop it up a little bit with the system he had in place then. But once huddle came about, like, it saves time, especially as, a working coach, teacher, husband, father.
Right.
Like, it's nice to have huddle to send film. You don't have to go to many live games. It's always the best scout is live.
Yeah.
Being able to chop it up, and huddle chops it up for you. So
Right.
you can either pick the
Amazing.
clips.
Yeah.
It's a huge difference. It makes a huge difference. The kids can go want to watch themselves. If you're, you have the extra time, you can actually clip up and make messages. There
And they'll watch it on their phone.
They can watch it on their phone.
Yeah.
Sometimes they watch for the wrong things. So
Right.
you really got to teach kids how to watch film.
Yeah.
Because you'd be surprised. Oh, we watch it,
Right.
but then they're
Yeah.
making the same mistake. So you
Right.
really got to teach kids how to watch and break down film.
Yeah.
The huddle's a huge advantage.
You are playing pickup down. Let's say you're down in the Marin City courts. It's you and 4 guys or women. Who's on your team?
Ooh,
Duffy's not available.
Duffy's not available.
Mm-mm.
That's a tough question.
Dave is available.
I'm available,
Yeah.
but the silence is deafening.
Oh, I'm gonna go Alex Pribble. He's a winner,
Yes.
tough-minded, can score, but he's gonna find you.
Yep.
I like to shoot, so
Yep.
he's gonna find you.
Okay, Tim's going to be spotted up in the corner.
Yeah, I'll go Jay. Jay's a
Okay.
Jay.
All right.
Yeah, can stroke it, can score. Mike Turner.
Jay
I'll-
defending the big guy on the other team.
Yep,
Yes,
big guy
yeah,
on the team.
yeah.
I might even go Aaron Pribble too. I played a lot with him. We know each other's
can play,
games.
yeah.
Know our games very, very well.
And he's got size. Aaron's big, right?
Yeah, Aaron's
Lefty,
big.
right?
Yeah, lefty. We played a lot together, so he knows my pick and roll, and he likes to seal and toss it back.
Played pro baseball.
Pro baseball.
Wrote a book, couple books.
Yep.
Yeah, team to defend a little bit there.
All right. That's pretty solid squad.
Yeah.
Okay, last one. Favorite Marin restaurant?
Man, going out to breakfast or brunch is like my favorite
Yeah.
food to eat.
Go with
So
it.
I'm going to go with that. I'm going to go Marvin's in Nevada.
Love it.
Old staple, best eggs Benedict you'll ever have.
I believe that's where Coach Lav Diotis took his team.
Good.
When we talked about
good callback. Yeah.
Yeah.
Coach Lav was great, and
Well-
he talked about just going and sitting down and having discussions over food is a great way to
Right.
get people loosened up.
Yeah.
And
Coach Kurtaz, especially during the winter break, he'd have like an 8 a.m. practice, and we go as a team and sit down and do that. And
Yeah.
great way to break the bread with your teammates and build relationships and even with your coaches and stuff like that. So
Duffy and I will still meet Mike Fulton and Jeff Skaggs and others at Hilda's in downtown San Anselmo
awesome. Love
for
Fulton.
breakfast.
And
And
all his camps growing up too.
Yeah,
Yep.
Fulton drove 2.5 hours to come meet us for breakfast.
I
Turned
know.
around and drove back.
I know. We bought him
Yeah.
breakfast though.
We did. That's true. It was
Yeah.
way worth it for him.
A lot of legendary stuff here.
Absolutely. Yes, Duffy, please.
I know we're closing down and I've interrupted a bunch, but Tim, I just want to give you an opportunity. Your wife had multiple sclerosis, correct? If our listeners are looking to support, research or outreach in, that community, is there a charity or two that you would recommend?
I don't have an exact one, but the MS Society is a good resource to look into some of those. Yeah, we didn't necessarily have a local one to do, but they have more of a national one that you can support and everything. And yeah, she took care of it for a long time. And yeah, just kind of lost the battle with it. But
Yeah.
she was a fighter.
Tough
She was
disease,
tough.
yeah.
Yeah, she's a big reason, part of my success too.
Yeah.
I don't want to forget that. So
For sure.
she was supportive. As we
Yeah.
know, coaches' wives are sacrificing way more than
Yes.
Yeah.
than
I'm
we
sure
feel
she's
like we do.
looking over you now as well.
Yeah, and she loved that I did it. She loved the relationships and connections I built with guys, and so she was a huge supporter, and she's a huge part of my success, and always will be. And just always trying to make her proud. So
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, hey, thank you so much for the time. So fun to talk. We could talk to you for hours. Everybody go out and support the Tam High School squad. Coach
Yeah.
Lynette has a good squad on the women, on the
Yep.
girls side as well.
Coach Zoe's actually assistant for both.
I saw that. Yeah. Yeah.
It's intense.
He's a lifer, man.
Yeah. He's great.
amazing.
But awesome. Thank you so much, buddy. Really fun to talk to you and wish you the best of luck.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This was fun.
That's
Appreciate
great.
it.
Yeah, thank you, Coach.
Burke's on his feet. He looks up and gives me a grin and says, "Hey dude, you too must be from Marin."